Welcome to Trojan TV Extra, a special edition of Trojan TV without announcements, and lots of great news and feature stories. This week's is dedicated to Mr. Moore. We wish him a quick recovery because he just got cancer surgery. Enjoy.
For this week's Things You Didn't Know About Your Teacher, we caught up with Mr. Moore to find out more about his pest control business.
I've owned my business for roughly 7 years. What I like about it is it's really interesting. Always been interesting to me. I like trying to figure out little pests and solve problems. And I know a lot about insects and certain pests like the habits of rodents and bats and other critters like that.
Being an exterminator has a lot of interesting moments.
Bugs that are pests aren't big bugs. They're generally small. However, you get things like the Hymenopteran family, like not the bees, but the hornets and yellow jackets. And that's probably the biggest thing that I ever had to exterminate, where they're inside of a wall or inside of a container wall, like along big businesses. One was crawling into this old cabin attic, and I was trying to. It was during the middle of summer, and I don't like to put exclusion doors on houses because bats have their babies, and it's actually thought of in some states as being illegal, and you shouldn't do it in Michigan either. So the only way I can exclude them is to catch them by hand and take them out. But this particular cabin didn't have a lot of bats. It was already too warm, so they had moved their young and everything out to some bat boxes that I had placed outside. But I could hear something up in there. And I remember crawling through this attic and my light going off. So I'm playing around with it, trying to hook it back up. And I turn it on, and I had two flying squirrels like right here in my face. And if you ever seen a flying squirrel, they're actually really cute, but they're just a different kind of creature, and their eyes were really big, and they were staring right at me, and I was a little thrown off by that.
This has been Audrey and Sophie reporting for Trojan TV.
That's it.
My name is Katie Coffey, and today we are in the hallways of East Middle School to find out if students know the correct meaning for commonly used acronyms. Do you know what DVD stands for?
DVD?
Yeah.
Digital video? No.
Digital something, I don't know. Okay.
Digital video disc.
DVD.
No answer to that. I don't really know.
DVR. Shoot. I don't know.
What does SCUBA stand for?
Scuba? I don't know.
I forgot.
School could undo buildings.
What do you think SCUBA stands for?
I don't know.
What does ESPN stand for?
Shoot, I don't know that. It's a news channel.
I have no idea.
What does NASA stand for? Just take a wild guess.
National agency something.
I'm not sure.
I forgot.
Despite the frequent use of acronyms, most people don't know what they stand for. This has been Katie Coffey and Carson Rucker reporting for Trojan TV.
Hi, and welcome to Mo Talks. Today our guest is Mrs. Bryan, and she will be talking about her marathon and running life.
Hi, Bo.
Hi, Miss Bryan. So, what do you like about running?
I like that I know that I'm getting in shape, and it was a cool thing for me because I could do it with my kids. I have 3 daughters, and all of us run, and we started running 5Ks together in Beulah, because I'm from Beulah, and we would do the Firecracker, and then we did the Cherry Fest, and then my second daughter, name's Julia, she started running a half marathon, so I challenged myself to a full marathon.
What are the types of races have you run? Like 5Ks all the way up to marathons?
Yep. And then after that, in 2010, I did a half marathon, which is 13.1 on the peninsula. And then I did a triathlon. I put my guess on that. So I swam, biked, and ran, and that was over at Bowers Harbor. So I did that in 2010. Then I did a half in 11, 12, 13. Last one I did was in 14. So I'm taking a break because I'm having hip issues. So, yeah.
How many total races have you run?
I probably couldn't tell you, but I know it's probably over 20. So I have lots of T-shirts. But I brought a few shirts to show you. Would you like to see them? And they give you this nice medal. And so that was 2009. And then they do a really nice job. This is the Bayshore. Then that's 2010. This is the one I got for my triathlon one. And this is 2011. Notice they give you nice shirts. And then this one was 2012. And then that one's 13. And then this was my last one. I keep this in my bedroom just to remind myself I can still do it sometimes. So hopefully I want to do one another year. That's my goal. It'll be 3 years since I've done a race, so I'm trying to set up a goal. I actually want to try one of those mudders. Have you ever seen where you run through mud?
Mud run?
Yeah, mud run. So that's kind of, I have my sights set on that and a bike race. I want to do the one at Crystal Mountain. I've never done a bike race before. So just kind of trying fun things, something different than teaching, you know? Yeah.
For this week's Classroom Spotlight, we caught up with Mr. Moore and Mr. Diamond's science classes, who have been looking through microscopes.
We basically wanted to learn the organelles and function of a cell, and then from there we took it to a next level, and now we're starting to understand what makes those cells different, and we've been talking about the specialization of certain cells and why certain cells in our body are behave differently than other cells. And with the microscopes that we're getting into, we can actually look at the other types of cells you can't see with the unaided eye.
Many students enjoyed this activity.
Well, my favorite part about it was when we got to compare the different ones and see them moving through the microscopes. Well, we learned what are the different types, if one's from a plant or an animal.
Mr. Diamond and Mr. Moore had many goals for their students.
We are basically just getting into the classification of living things. Types of cells you can't see with the unaided eye, and get a better understanding and feel for how big this world really is, actually from the small standpoint of it too.
This has been Haley, Mackenzie, and Kylie reporting for Trojan TV.
More than 50 million kids in the U.S. struggle with allergies while they are in school.
Allergies that we deal with are going to be bee sting allergies and allergies to nuts. One of our students who is severely allergic was in the same room as peanuts, and she had a reaction, and I believe she ended up having to go to the doctor. And we also, a couple years ago, did have to use an EpiPen on a student because that student had a donut that was cooked in peanut oil.
Well, I have to be really cautious about picking up foods and reading ingredients because it's life-threatening.
I've had to take Benadryl because kids bring peanut butter into class and I have to go to the office. It's just kind of different because I have to sit at a different table in elementary school, and if one of my friends has peanut butter, I can't sit by them.
I've been allergic to nuts all my life. I used to be allergic to eggs when I was really little, but I grew out of that fast.
One way East Middle School helps students is by having peanut-free areas.
We do have students with peanut allergies here at East Middle School. We do have peanut-free tables for them to sit at. They can choose to sit there on their own or not. We also have students with a fish allergy, and we have shellfish allergies also. And so when we have menu items that contain those, we put up the two signs, shellfish or fish.
Usually I will tell them that I have an allergy just so that they know and that they're aware, so that usually it's not as much of a risk.
We also have a few students here at East Middle School that have a gluten free menu because of gluten intolerance. And so with their doctor's notes that we need pertaining information, we actually make them a gluten-free meal.
This has been Monroe and Abby reporting for Trojan TV.
Thank you for watching this week's Trojan TV Extra. You can follow DMC and Trojan TV on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook by searching @EastDMC.